At least 37 persons are reported dead in a landslide in Bafoussam, west region of the Republic of Cameroon, and the situation is very difficult over there. Rescue soldiers are on the ground and government authorities are streaming into the area as rescue operations continue. The landslide occurred yesterday and Cameroon has made one step backward on the World Doing Business classification table. The country of President Paul Biya is at the 167th position out of 190. Those were top stories. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan, and we're going to begin right away in the West Regional Chief Town, where at least 37 persons are now reported dead following a landslide that hit the third subdivision of the West Regional capital, and of course many people are still trapped in the landslide, and the Minister of Territorial Administration ASANGA Paul is on his way to Bafoussam to take stock of the situation over there, and the death toll has continued increasing since the incident occurred yesterday. Innocent as it has more.
A caterpillar digging, as well as the population, all in a bid to retrieve bodies of victims of the landslide in Guashe Quarter in Bafoussam 3 subdivision. Search operations, which began Tuesday, October 29, 2019, saw 32 bodies retrieved by 4 p.m., with close to 20 still missing.
On a identifié plus de 50 personnes.
According to West Governor Awafonka Augustine, over 50 persons were trapped in the landslide, and by the time of his arrival Tuesday morning, 7 corpses had been removed. All 32 corpses conveyed to the West Regional Hospital mortuary.
Les enchères qui vont entrer dans la danse d'un moment à l'autre pour faire ce travail, aider les populations à faire ce travail.
The governor also said 11 houses have been buried by the disaster.
On a enregistré 11 maisons qui sont vraiment enterrées.
Relatives of victims are in agony.
On ne laisse pas plus, me voici à Bafoussam. Vous commencez par où? Mon mari.
Though the search operations are not rosy, they persist with expectation. All of those believed to have been buried by the landslide will be retrieved.
I told you in the headlines that the Minister of Territorial Administration of the Republic of Cameroon, ASANGA Paul, is on his way to the West Regional Chief Town, Bafoussam, to take stock of the situation as far as the landslide, which has killed over 37 persons as of now, is concerned, and such operations are still on the way, while the over 30 corpses retrieved this far have been deposited in the mortuary in Bafoussam. And of course, we'll be bringing to you updates as far as this situation is concerned. In the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, floods continue threatening lives in different neighborhoods in Yaoundé. And following heavy downpour, the Komnyada neighborhood close to the Yaoundé Conference Center was heavily flooded. Almost all the houses in the neighborhood were flooded. And of course, the occupants are sending a distress call to the Yaoundé administration, blaming the situation on the absence of poor or the absence of drainage patterns, and those that are present are poorly constructed, and also the poor construction of a bridge in that neighborhood, which is said to have provoked the floods in the neighborhood of Komnyada. They are sending a distress call to the Yaoundé administration. On to something else now. We're going to talk about the battle for the control of the Douala seaport, notably the container terminal of the Douala seaport, which has intensified, and the call to tender for interested enterprises, and the selected process has been controversially challenged by some disqualified enterprises, notably Bolloré SA. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
With Bolloré SA at the Douala Bonaberi seaport, neither is the scramble to manage the container terminal of the port over. The battle began in January 2018 with an international call to tender for the management of the container terminal of the Port Authority of Douala. At the end of the period to tender on January 2, 2019, 5 enterprises, notably CMA Terminals, based in Marseille, France, Emirati Dubai Port World of the United Arab Emirates, Hutchison Port Investment in Asia, Saudi Arabia's Red Sea Gateway Terminals, and Swiss-based Terminal Investment Limited were retained by APMT Terminals for scrutiny. As the scrutinization process was ongoing, Bolloré SA, which failed to feature among the first 5, turned to the Douala Administrative Court to challenge the decision of APMT Terminals, which saw Bolloré disqualified. On August 21, 2019, the Douala Administrative Court ruled temporarily in favor of Bolloré, demanding a halt in the process to accord the container terminal to whichever enterprise. But the Douala Port Authority would not bow to the decision and went further to appeal in Yaoundé. The process was fast and brief. That on September 16, 2019, Terminal Investment Limited was selected as the new operator of the container terminal of the Douala Port Authority. Despite the results, Bolloré SA, that has been at the port of Douala since 2004, remained unsatisfied, and its management decided to write to the Presidency of the Republic of Cameroon. Coinciding with the visit of the French Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs, the Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic of Cameroon, on October 25, 2019, in a confidential and urgent document, asked the Director of the Douala Port Authority to halt the process to finalize the terms of contract with the new operator, Terminal Investment Limited, while awaiting the final decision of the Douala Administrative Court.
Cameroon has made a step backward on the current World Doing Business classification table, and the classification table indicates that Cameroon is now at the 167th position out of 190 countries. For me, Armstrong Sander has details.
The World Bank, in its 2020 Doing Business report, says Cameroon is 167 out of 190 destinations with ease of doing business across the world. After studying 10 factors favorable for business, notably starting a business, employing workers, dealing with construction permits, getting electricity, registering property, getting credit, protecting minority investors, paying taxes, trading across borders, and contracting with government, the World Bank gave Cameroon a 4.1 score out of a total of 100 points available. The World Bank notes that Cameroon has evolved only on 1 point out of the 10 factors favorable for doing business, and that has to do with improvements on information on getting credits across Cameroon. This, according to Invest in Cameroon, is thanks to Cameroon's efforts within the Central African Economic and monetary community, CEMAC, where Cameroon stands tall and is only seconded by Gabon on spot 169 with regards to the current classification. Despite Cameroon's position within the Central African sub-region, Cameroon witnessed a drop with regards to the global ranking as compared to last year when it was on spot 166. The first three best positions in Africa went to Morocco, Kenya and Tunisia, while Libya, Eritrea and Somalia occupied the last three positions in Africa. The World Bank says New Zealand, Singapore and Hong Kong are the top three destinations with ease of doing business across the world.
Recently appointed divisional officers in the ASANGA Maritime Division Littoral region of Cameroon have been urged to work hard for the consolidation of peace in their respective areas of command and to enhance development and the well-being of the people of that part of the Republic of Cameroon. They were recently commissioned into their functions by the prefect of the ASANGA Maritime Division, Hermine Luca Hasmo.
It is with respect to the recent October presidential decree on the appointment of divisional officers in the country that the installation ceremony of Panda Emile Achille as new divisional officer of the Idea 2 municipality was held. He takes over Dauda Issa, called to other duties.
Panda Emile Achille pour diriger désormais l'arrondissement d'Idea 2e en remplacement de M. Dauda Issa.
A ceremony presided at by the senior divisional officer of the ASANGA Maritime, who encouraged assiduous work to the newly installed divisional officer. A similar ceremony was held in Dzangé, where Ebok Sanjomo Sostem officially replaced Nzang Epkode Jean-Jacques. A ceremony attended massively by the sons and daughters of the Sangé left the locals voice out some expectations. He should always be a peace initiator and he should prune down. Priorities are development in all domains, health, education and infrastructure, amongst others. The civil administrators have then officially received their batons of command. All left is for them to be loyal in their respective localities.
The director of the local government training center CEFAM in Boya Southwest region of Cameroon has said government is introducing a new method and of course new programs to better train its stakeholders for an effective implementation of decentralization on the ground, and the training exercise is underway in that training center in Boya. Derek Jato reports.
The local government training center CEFAM Boya 2019-2021 training period is officially open, and at the solemn opening ceremony presided at by Madam Fokaterine, Director of Human Resources for Local Collectivities in the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, on behalf of her minister, said today's much talk on effective decentralization can only be conveniently implemented when the competencies are there at the local level to receive and manage the resources that will be transferred to councils.
At the local level, people are supposed to manage those resources that are going to be transferred. And if those who are supposed to manage the transferred resources are not competent, if they don't have a qualified profile to manage those resources, it means that we are still moving a step ahead and moving about 10 steps behind. Reason why
The Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development is seriously stepping in to prepare the groundwork in that direction.
The Minister of Decentralization and Local Development is not relenting his efforts to see into it that CEFAM is up to the task of training those who are going to manage those resources in the field.
And Matthew Hagbe, Director of CEFAM Boya, at the opening ceremony taking place here at the CEFAM headquarters in Boya, announced that new changes have already been made to adapt to the new requirement of decentralization in terms of training in his center.
We do have a new curriculum that is really adapted to new requirements of the decentralization process, and we have started implementing it already to field, okay?
Sifam is one of the centers where much is expected, especially in these present exigencies.
And Cameroon will take on Argentina this Wednesday in a must-win encounter in the 2019 Under-17 World Cup in Brazil. Talking Point is up next. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in Talking Points. We are receiving a member of the diaspora, Paddy ASANGA. You're welcome.
Thank you, Babila, for giving me this privilege, and I want to congratulate Equinox Television, the People's Television, for what you have been doing to articulate the aspirations of the people of Cameroon through people like us and many other people who have been on your platform, Babila. I want to congratulate you, and from my heart.
All right, we're going to start from some of the issues highlighted in the news. First, over 37 persons killed in a landslide in Bafoussam. What's your take?
You know, Babila, I have a heavy heart for the people of Bafoussam. Things like this happen because of administrative bottlenecks. Normally, in a country that is well regulated, we should not have things like landslides. They can't be prevented. It could be prevented. How did we get there? It just tells you that we have people in this system who are not ready. They can sacrifice as much life as they want. I want to tell you what happens in dictatorship. But the landslide
is a natural catastrophe.
No.
The people too are blamed for occupying forbidden areas forbidden for human habitation.
What did they do? People go and bribe and build where they want to build, and you want to say they are bribe forbidden occupation. This government does what it wants and when it wants. So you cannot tell me that if somebody goes and builds at Commando, somebody is responsible. Somebody knows that this person is building there. Who permitted that person to build there? So you cannot say that, Babila. It is not true. I will not accept it. I will not sit here and say that there is a landslide and it's a natural catastrophe. No. We know in the geography of the world, we know dangerous regions where people can build and regions where people cannot build. And when it happens in Bafoussam, it has happened here in Douala. There are floods. Why are there floods in Douala? Why are there floods in Yaoundé? Because there are no drainage. It is the same thing. We cannot make the same mistake and expect different results. No, I will not accept that. Don't say that, please. For the sake of those people who have died, the people who are responsible for those buildings in those areas should be held responsible. And that is what we call holding somebody responsible for not doing his job, Mr. Babila.
The Minister of Territorial Administration, Atanganji Paul, is on his way to Bafoussam to take stock of the situation.
What is Mr. Atanganji Paul? No, Babila, I'm not cutting you. What is Mr. Atanganji Paul going to do in Bafoussam?
He is the Minister of Territorial
Administration. He is the Minister of Territorial Administration, but he is the Minister of Problems too.
That is why he's going there.
No, but he is the one who has created most problems in this country. He should not be going there. The minister, there should be a minister. I think there is a Ministry of Environment in this country. And they should know dangerous regions and regions where people are supposed to be. What is Mr. Atanganji going to go there? He is just trying to escape from his crimes.
No, he cannot be escaping from his crime. He's going to, as far as this situation is concerned, he's not staying away.
What has he got to do in Bafoussam?
He's going to where there is a problem as the Minister of Territorial Administration.
You know, Babila, I like one thing I like about you people in Equinox is that people can debate with you. Governance is preventing. He is going now to when people have already died. Is he going to wake up the corpses like the ones that he said there were no problem and people are dying? Why? Who voted for Atanganji Paul in the first place?
But if he stayed away, you would have still criticized him for staying away.
I don't criticize Mr. He's not relevant to some of us. People sit in Yaoundé and say that I can be drinking my tango and people will be dying. They sit and say that there is no Anglophone problem and people are dying there. There are landslides everywhere. They run there to go and rob us. I saw him in Sangmelima. What was he going to do in Sangmelima?
What should be done?
No! The situation in Sangmelima is the same thing that was planted in 1992. Famendongo and the rest should be responsible for that.
What should be done in Bafoussam now?
What should be done in Bafoussam now is that they should send a rescue team and not send a politician who is trying to escape from his crimes, saying that he's going to rescue the people.
In another report, we heard that the government is introducing new programs in the training centers across the country in order to better train stakeholders for an effective implementation of decentralization. What do you think about this?
When you say things like this, I smile and I laugh. It's a joke. If they want to decentralize the francophone regions of Cameroon, let them do it, right? But we have made it clear, and that's why we came to this country. We want to load the special status. The content is what is important to us. Whether they're saying effective decentralization or not, this parliamentary session, I want to say it, will determine the fate of this country. And if the war continues, or if that chaos, that political crisis continues in the northwest and southwest region, probably I can guarantee you that there will be no elections in this country. I can tell you that, unless we want to have a charade like one we had when the ghost of Ambazonia and military people went and voted for Mr. Biya, and Kamto says he too was voted. And we are not going to accept that.
You're talking about measures that should be taken, actions that should be taken by parliamentarians in the upcoming parliamentary session, notably with regards to the northwest and the southwest regions, and the recommendations of the major national dialogue. What do you expect from those parliamentarians? Listen,
Babila, you cannot be a parliamentarian from the north and southwest region when you don't understand the dynamics, you don't understand the history of our living together. And it is time for those parliamentarians from the northwest and the southwest region to load the special status and give us what we brought into this union. I know my people.
To load the special status? What do you mean by that?
Listen, Mr. Babila, what happened to WADA? What happened to Cameroon Bank? What about the structural development plans like Menchum Fall? What about the Limbe DC port? What happened to all the institutions that we brought in? Those are things that should be ignited, should be impregnated in the social status. And I'm calling on all parliamentarians, be it CPDM or SDF, who are seated there in the parliament. This is time for them to prove to us that they are ready for something. I'm privileged, and I want to say it on your television, on Equinox. I met the parliamentarians of the SDF at Hotel de Député before I left Yaoundé and came to your studio. I spoke to them. I have that privilege, and they know what the stakes are. We should load the social status, the special status, and stop the bleeding. Let's forget about the nomenclature, because the Jacobins will not concede. They will not concede. You were talking about Mr. Atanga Njipol. Mr. Atanga Njipol is a Francophone Jacobin.
And talking about the loading of the special status, for that to be implemented, Barrister Agbo Bala, who took part in the major national dialogue, said the constitution must be amended.
But, you know, I met with Agbo Bala. Is my brother, he's my friend. We eat and we wine together. I'll take a bullet for him. I say it to whoever wants to know. When the constitution has to be amended, that is what we are talking about, getting this the parliamentary section of November pregnant. We said it before now. Barrister Agbola, I've met, right now I'm meeting Dr. Monzo. I met Cardinal, and you heard what he said. I've met other people. I've met the people of the... We cannot keep on warmongering when we are not ready for war. There are people in this country, I want to say it and I'm saying it again, who are working with people in the diaspora to make sure that some of the guns that they take from those boys' hands, they are from the government. They are the guns from the military. Who is responsible for that? They are people in this country. Babila, don't cut me.
Do you have proofs?
I have it. Don't cut me, please. There are people in this country who are living from the war on the north and southwest region, and they don't want it to end. And we are saying that the government should do what it thinks. But you know what? I'm so pleased, because there are some Anglophones in the government too who have decided to give everything to make sure that this thing ends. And I've met them. The Prime Minister of this country is one of them. He's a victim. Mr. Fayengo Francis is one of them. He's a victim. Only victims want the problems to solve. But those who are fanfaring, they have created militias sitting in their houses, and those militias are protecting them. They don't want this thing to end.
You're certainly expecting the special status to be implemented as soon as possible. But since the major national dialogue ended, the President of the Republic went to Lyon in France. He discussed with President Macron. He told him what happened at the major national dialogue, and he came back. Until now, there's been a period of dead silence.
Listen.
Dead silence. No. What do you think about this dead silence?
No, please, Babila, let me be honest with you people. And these are some of the things that we will say. If it means that they will have to behead us as they beheaded Ayafor, then let it be. Mr. Biya has nothing to do with this country anymore.
He's still the president of this country.
I'm saying that, Mr. Biya, I've never voted for Mr. Biya. Permit me say what I've said.
But he's still the president of this country.
Let him be what
as per results of the last presidential election confirmed by the Constitutional Council.
Mr. Biya, by default, okay, if you want me to be politically correct, I'll be. But Mr. Biya is a white boy with a black skin. He is going to tell Mr. Macron. Why can he not tell the Cameroonian people what is the result of the national dialogue and what you want to do? And that is why I'm saying this. There are things that I don't want to say because you don't say strategy publicly. But the November session of the parliament is very, very pregnant. And those people, I have the confidentiality of the opposition. But those people who have the CPDM, this is time for them to sit down and stop the bleeding, Mr. Babila. We can come together and load this place. All this charade they are trying to test. Oh, we are trying disarmament. We are trying to do decentralization. We are trying to do this. What is happening on the field? Babila, I don't want to put pictures where I have been because I don't want to endanger the people. I've been in the Northwest region. I've been in the Southwest region. And based on what I know on the ground, I can put in... I know you people are going on my Facebook page, but I want to tell you that there is a minimum our people are going to concede, and we are going to do everything so that Anglophones should come together and load the special status. It should be us,
so that the bloodshed should stop in the two regions, so that peace should return, so that normalcy should return in those two regions. Paddy, ASANGA, thanks for coming.
Yeah, but Babila, I want to thank you very much, and permit me say this. I went to Konenge prison. I met my brothers and friends, Mancho BBC. Let the government release the coffin revolution leaders and their members so that we can go and bring our boys and girls out of the bushes. Those boys are ready. That's what took me to condemn the prison. Let Mancho, BBC, Pen Parents, Ngalim and the rest be released so that we can go and bring our boys and girls out of the bushes, and then we forge a way forward. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Paddy, ASANGA, and safe journey back to Germany.
You're welcome, Babila, and I would always be grateful to you people at the Equinox Television. Don't blink. We know we are under a dictatorship, but we are behind you people. I am responsible for what I'm saying. Don't blink. Thanks. Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. And I hope to be back on air anytime soon.
Thanks,
Paddy, and with your support, with our support, we are going to make sure that you people remain the voice of the people. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.
You're welcome.